Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, I'm Barrage, and today I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you very much for asking, random viewer, who I am addressing now through the wonders of video. Okay, but seriously, I have to stream pretty quick here, so I'm just going to get right into it, which is a review of some new EXs added to the JP side. We have some details. We don't have the full stats, but I'm pretty much ready to call this based on what we have seen. So first of all, let's start with everybody's little favorite water mage, who is of a lower tier, but not necessarily of a lower standard, Asevero. Asevero has been a character that I've kind of had my eye on ever since, I think it was the first or second tower. But that was a statted up version, basically. But he's always been interesting as, a lower cost unit that doesn't, that could be just a good one to build at some point. Asevero gets a couple of upgrades that I think are really good for him. First of all, his Water Gu gets a range increase. Not only that, but it actually gets a 3-turn Brave down. If you're building a mage team, reducing bravery isn't exactly the worst thing possible. Also, what's interesting is the fact that even though he is, not a UR or even an MR/SSR, his magic counter actually gets improved as well with a range and chance increase. But not only that, it actually gets sleep on it. So if you could make a way of getting Asevero, being a pretty tanky unit, he could be just really interesting. And we'll talk about that in a second. But honestly, sleep, not a bad thing to potentially give your units turns to set up, or, potentially just get a big hit in on the enemy to reorganize. It's interesting. I find that a really interesting way to improve a lower tier unit by giving them a good counter with a status effect on it, since status effect prevention is not the easiest thing. I like that on a lower tier unit. So Asevero has definitely earned a few points for that. As for his job level 25 ability, he gets a self 3-turn haste plus cast speed up and guts as well. So there's your survivability right there. Are there abilities that removes guts? Yes, there is. Are they absolutely commonplace right now? Not overly on the JP side. I do think that there is some good stuff here. I do think that his 3-turn haste, as well as just giving him faster casting speed and guts, is a pretty good opening ability for him that could push his performance up quite nicely. So for a lower investment unit, the real question is how survivable is he on the field? But I have to say, I am liking Asevero. That is a little bit preliminary, but I do think that overall his upgrades are particularly really nice for what he is and what he costs. And yeah, good for him. Good for him. Good for a lower tier unit. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about Kuri, who is everyone's favorite dad, because there are so many great dads in the Wotv world. Am I being sarcastic? I sound sarcastic, but I might not be, and that's one of the things that is the thing that you guys all tune in for. Alright, so let's get out of the sarcasm. First of all, Barrage is getting an AP cost down and getting Frostbite, and that is probably the biggest thing that we really need to talk about here, is the fact that he does get the brand new status effect. For those of you who don't know what Frostbite is, Frostbite is a brand new status effect on the JP side that will be added to the global side later. It is a status effect that removes AP generation and also removes AP per turn. Now, I was kind of afraid of the fact that Ice was going to get a exclusive status effect, and while it isn't exclusive yet, and there could be more exclusive status effects on the way, Fire could end up getting burned, Paralysis could, well, okay, maybe not, but there could be some more status effects on the future for specific elements, but for now, Frostbite is potentially killer. This is a big deal because Frostbite is now on a unit as well, and it's not just any unit. It's on a skill that is pretty well regarded as pretty strong too. Barrage is a really good ability, and if it is AP costed down and it gets a really powerful status effect that shuts down bells, that shuts down AP generation in general, without AP generation, you're basically relying on your regular attacks. And if I remember correctly, Frostbite also potentially, or it goes for 3 turns. And that's just really nasty. In Arena and whatnot, Curie might actually become meta in a lot of PvP circumstances, because a lot of people were running, gunners / archers already for the distance, and, dishing out damage beforehand, causing status effects and everything. And now this guy just got the premium grade status effect in this game. AP generation is a hugely important thing, and this could become a thing in future challenge content. Long story short, whenever I see this guy in the future, I'm going to be a little bit nervous about him. Now, should be also noted that Frostbite does, I think, have the base 25% chance, and until I actually see video of him, just constantly being able to do the status effect on enemies, I'm not going to be super terrified, but at the same time, it is a little worrying, and I do think that this might actually make this unit meta. I really think it's possible. There's already good archer teams out there. Killing AP generation is just one way to do it more. So, Curie, I'm just giving the highlight of this update award. I think that just that Frostbite alone is enough. But he also gets his range passive gets a increase by getting an AP gain up as well, which is particularly strong for someone who's going to be wanting to cast those abilities. And his job level 25 is a 3-turn area attack, magic, and agility up as well. Very good looking EX. One of the shockingly best looking EX. I don't think I'd be anywhere near as impressed if it didn't have AP generation, but really the kicker here is just Frostbite. This unit went from completely off my radar, dead, buried underground, and hopefully Glassie's spear keeping him down there, but now, well, we got a problem. Might be kind of interesting. And last but not least is Whisper, who is my grade A disappointment of the batch. That's right. Sorry, all you people who really like Whisper. I get tons of people, well, by tons, I mean people, who tell me all the time how much they love Whisper, how Whisper's the greatest unit ever. Well, guess what? There's no way I'm going to sugarcoat this. I think that Whisper's EX is a big disappointment because it does not make what made Whisper interesting anymore. And I was afraid they were going to do this. First of all, Trinity Break, AP cost down, CT down, and it might have an area of effect. Let me just see. I do believe we can check these now without having to unlock them. Yeah, you can see here, I think someone said that it did have an area effect, but I cannot confirm that as I do not have the ability yet. Apologies. Next up, her Divine Heal gets Regen, Protect, and Shell. While Protect and Shell are not necessarily bad things to have and to be able to cast on a tanky unit, there are a lot of abilities now that remove shields, benefits, all kinds of stuff. And her regen, I just don't think it's going to be enough to really merit it. So yeah, that's a big question mark as to why that was included instead. And it's very clear what would have been better. More resistances would have been perfect on her. I think that's what everybody was hoping for, and that is not what we got. That is not it. And her last ability is a defense and spirit down plus damage. Now, honestly, it's only listed as medium damage, so I'm not expecting this to be really that exciting, but Whisper her EX is just, it's not good. It's not good, and there isn't any two ways to really sugarcoat it. I just think that this is an incredibly big underperformer, especially against the two cheaper cost units, which have much more interesting and better designed for their kits. So, I personally kind of over the last little while, have really started to like Whisper a lot more in terms of the originality and whatnot, and people on global side becoming championing her a little bit more to try and highlight a bunch of her strengths. But in all honesty, with resources kind of being limited and stretched on the JP side, especially if you're not spending money, I just don't think that the EX resources are better spent here. I think they would have been much better spent on Duan, who is also a kind of defensive but still has offensive capabilities and debuffs. I like Whisper, but they done her dirty. And if you want me to put it in perspective for how dirty I think they did Whisper here, I think they basically treated her much in the same way that Lyra was treated back in the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius days. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Anyway, that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Take care, and let me know what you think in the comments below. See you next time.